And now, it's time for Dodger Baseball.
Hey guys, Big Red Studies over back at you with another Sports Cave video. And last time I'm watching the baseball game, and I believe it was right around the 4th, 5th, or 6th inning. It was right in there. They come back on air, and they said they have the unfortunate task of passing along some sad news to us, and that Vince Scully had passed away. I will never forget it. You know, there are certain calls during sports that you never forget. I will never forget watching wrestling the night that Owen Hart passed away. I'll never forget watching NASCAR and listening to the words that after turn 4 of the Daytona 500, we have lost Owen Hart Sr. And this will go right in that category with all that. I will never forget hearing those words last night. And I just want to pay tribute to the man who was Vince Scully. To the man who I called Uncle Vinny. And the reason I called him Uncle Vinny, he was no relation to me. But growing up, it was like he was. Every night when the baseball game starts, my mom knew I was in the house. I was in trouble. I was in the house, in front of the TV, in front of the radio, wherever I could get to listen to Vince Scully. She would go to these big old bonfires, and I didn't want to be there late at night. They're all out there just around the bonfire, a bunch of older folks. I'm a little kid, and I'm like, Mom, can I have the keys to the car? I would go up in the car just to listen to Vince Scully call the Dodger game. That's what Vince Scully meant to me. I always would love to become a baseball announcer because of Vince Scully. You know, a lot of people say such and such actor or such and such person, famous person, had an impact on me as a child. And I can honestly say Vince Scully had an impact on me as a child. When I came in the house and I said, I'm going to listen to Uncle Vinny tonight, Mom knew who I was talking about because I always called him Uncle Vinny because he felt like an uncle. It felt like for that couple hours, that few hours that I'm listening to him, that I'm there in front of him, that I'm, when he told a story, it made you feel like you were in the room with him. And he told many stories. I'll never forget the day I got to meet him. And, they say, you never forget the day you meet your heroes, or they also say don't ever meet your heroes. Well, this was one hero I was glad I got to meet. I got to meet him at Dodger Stadium, and I'll never forget that day. I used to go to Bakersfield Dodger games down in Bakersfield, the minor league team. I used to go to those games. I'll be watching the Bakersfield Dodgers play on the field while listening to Vince Scully call the Dodger game down in L.A. Vince Scully was my childhood. During the daytime or Saturday, I would get in front of the TV and watch cartoons, and that was great. But nighttime, when the games started, you knew where I was. You knew I was in my room watching or listening to Vince Scully. Unfortunately, today's kids, they don't get to experience someone like a Vince Scully, who is the greatest of all time when it came to calling baseball games. And that's unfortunate because for us who did grow up on him, and I've heard a lot of tributes today from people outside of the California area, but for us who could get him on the radio or watch him on TV, we grew up with him in our living rooms. We grew up with him in our bedrooms. We grew up with him in our cars because that's all we knew. These commentators today, a lot of us who grew up on Vince Scully have a harder time listening to some of the commentators today because they're not Vince Scully. Let's be honest. So, Vinny, thank you for everything you did. Thank you for all the memories. Thank you for the love. Thank you for coming in our homes every night there was a game. Thank you for the memorable stories. Oh man, we could sit here all night talking about some of the stories that we remember as kids. Thank you for being the greatest storyteller of all time. Vinny, Thank you for being the voice of the Dodgers. Thank you for being the heart of LA. Rest easy, my friend.
You and I have been friends for a long time, but I know in my heart that I've always needed you more than you've ever needed me. And I'll miss our time together more than I can say. But you know what? There will be a new day and eventually a new year. And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball. So this is Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon wherever you may be.